Hello, my name's Sophie, and I may have gone a little bit crazy when I went book shopping on payday. So my whole plan was that I was going to have no buy November, and I wasn't going to buy any books, and then on the 1st of December I was going to treat myself. I was going to go to the works, I was going to get lots of festive little cute reads in the 3 for £6 section, and life was going to be good. But what happened is I lost my mind, and they had 20% off, and I've been making a little list of books that I want to buy in this December book haul for a few weeks now. So I have this big bag. So I went to 2 different The Works stores, and then I went to Waterstones, and then I popped into Tesco on my way home because there was one book that I saw, I think at the beginning of November, that I really liked the look of, and I've been waiting to buy until this point. I did try to vlog, but I got a bit nervous. Let's take a moment of calm. I'll put some nice music on it and we can watch this little montage before we get into the chaos that is this bag. I need someone to take my bank card away from me. In Tesco's I picked up 2 books because they were on 2 for £9 on club card price. This is the book that I really wanted. It's called The Christmas Book Club by Sarah Morgan. Sarah Morgan is a name that I'm very familiar with from the shelves, but I don't think I've read before, and I imagine it's a book about a Christmas book club, and honestly that sounds right up my street. And then I could have just got this for £5.50 and I would have spent less money. But when it's 2 for £9, I would have been wasting money. There's girl math or book math in there somewhere. So the other book I picked up was another Christmas one, and it's called One December Day. It's kind of Christmassy. I thought the cover was pretty, and it was in the deal. So when I went into Waterstones, there was one book that I knew I definitely wanted to get in there because I hadn't seen it anywhere else. There was another book that I was like, well, I've been to the works and it wasn't there, so if I see it, that would be great. And then the last book has been on my TBR list on Storygraph for probably a year, because I think I saw Chandler Ainsley on YouTube talking about this book last year, and it's the first time I think I've ever seen it in person in the UK. So I ended up with 3, and we're not going to talk about it. The first book I picked up is The Christmas Jigsaw Murder by Alexandra Bracken, and normally I'm very much a romance Christmas book reader. I just love an easy romance at Christmas. I love an easy romance all year round, but Christmas romances hit different. But I picked up a book called The Christmas Murder Game last year by the same author, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really clever, really engaging, but also still really festive. And she has another book called Murder on the Christmas Express, which came out the year before The Christmas Murder Game, and I wanted to pick that up but I couldn't see it anywhere. But this, I believe, is a new release this year. I think the cover is stunning, and I know that I already like the author and the style of her Christmassy thriller crime books, so I picked that one up as well. The next book is the one that I thought would be available in the works, but I couldn't see it, but that is A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This is one that I've seen quite polarising opinions on TikTok. People either seem to love it or they're really disappointed by it, and I was like, yeah, don't know if I'm interested in that. And then I read what it was actually about, and it's right up my alley. I kind of love celebrity like actors or books about musicians and those kinds of things. I think this is going to be really fun, and that's what we need in Christmas books, isn't it? If I don't read them this year, there's Christmas every year. I'm sure it'll be fine. The next book I picked up is the one that I have seen and been thinking about for over a year, but it's the first time I've seen it in real life, and it's Love Light Farms by B.K. Borison. I believe this is the first book in a series of interconnected standalones that aren't all Christmas themed, but it's like one of these small town, here's more stories about other couples in the town kind of vibes. So I went to 2 different The Works stores, because we have 2 in my town. One of them I just bought box sets because they didn't really have anything else that was on my list, and then the second one I got the stuff that was on my list and more. So the first one I think is somewhat predictable, because I read the first book in this series in November, wrapped it up in my November TBR, and I looked at other ways of getting books 2 and 3. I looked at all the options. I looked at Amazon, I looked at Waterstones, I looked at buying them separately in loads of different places, but the cheapest way to buy the whole series was to get the whole Folk of the Air trilogy for The Works for £15. So now I have 2 copies of The Cruel Prince, but there was no way I was going to get the other 2 books cheaper. So these next 2 box sets I found when I was browsing The Works' website the other day, because I was considering doing my big Christmas shop online, but then the availability online is just kind of hit and miss, kind of the same way that you can't get the same stock in 2 different Works stores. But I thought these were online exclusives, and then I found them. So I've got a series of 4 Alexandra Christo books. I think 2 of them are a duology, and the others either are standalones or fit in somewhere, but that's 4 books for £12. The second book set I got was another one where they end up being £3 a book, but I got 5 books in this set, so it's £15, and it's a series of LMA's books. I think the spines all look really pretty together, but Charlie Love and Clichés is a book that I saw on the shelves months ago, and I really like the look of it. It's one that I was like, oh, I will probably pick that up at some stage if it's in the like 3 for £6 at The Works or whatever. And then I saw this box set and I read about all these other books that are in this collection, and I was like, you know what, these all sound like so much fun. So I'd already kind of decided that I wanted this, and then it was there in front of me and I lost my mind. So let's do this. The battery light's flashing. We can get through this before it dies. I got 2 more box sets and then a bunch of individual books at the second Works store. Another Holly Black box set that I picked up. I don't really know what these are about at all, but I think the spines look really, really pretty. I don't know if you'll be able to see them because of the plastic, but I think they are stunning. I've read 1 Holly Black book, so that means I'll probably like these as well, right? Something about fairy tales. Either way, the first set of books I picked up was the Modern Fairy Tales trilogy, which I got for £15. The next one I picked up, I really wasn't going to. I think I've heard of these books, but I wasn't really like bothered about them, and then I saw that this packaging was ripped, and I was like, well, the books themselves are fine, and it's £10 for 3 books. So I picked up these Garth Nix books. It's Sabriel, Lyriel and Aborson. I didn't even read the back before I bought it, but I've heard of Garth Nix. I think I might already have some Garth Nix books, and I think he's one of those that is just like a reliable fantasy author. I feel like he's one that I've seen other people talking about and enjoying his books. And these covers are pretty. I thought the spines were pretty. There we go. That's all I've got. I have no more justification. It was £10. Okay, so in the 3 for £6, I first picked up Window Shopping by Tessa Bailey. I've never read a Tessa Bailey book, but I follow her on TikTok and I think she's really funny. And this one's really, really short, and I like Christmas books, so I thought this would be a nice easy win. And then of course once you start buying 3 for £6, you have to buy 3. So the other 2 books I picked up were The Gingerbread Cafe by Anita Faulkner. This one sounds really, really cute. Small town romance, a woman that runs a cafe, a grumpy guy that doesn't like Christmas at all. It sounds like the most stereotypical Christmas small town book that I've probably already read, and I'm probably still going to have a really nice time. And then this is one that I did actually find on the Works website when I was looking, and I've read a book, well, the book is called All I Want for Christmas by Maggie Knox, and I read a Maggie Knox book last year. I think it's called The Christmas Swap or something, about these twins that trade lives, and I was so disappointed in it. I thought the ending was horrendous, so that would put me off buying another Maggie Knox book. But this one sounds relatively good, and it finished my 3 for £6 deal. So, and on to the books that weren't included in deals. I bought Tessa Bailey's new Christmas book, Wreck the Halls, because I've heard incredible things. I've heard it's got some really good spice in it. Yeah, I've not read Tessa Bailey before, and I think she's quite a staple romance author at the moment. So this is me dipping my toe into Tessa Bailey. And then into the last 3, I picked up The Lost Bookshop by Evie Woods, which is a book I think I've seen either on TikTok or I've seen it in a bookshop before, picked it up and thought that sounds good, but I can't afford it at the moment, so I'll buy it another time. And it sounds pretty good. It's about a magic bookshop, and it was only £3. 3 whole pounds. So I was like, you know what, I can afford to take a risk on a book when it's only £3. The last 2 books are the ones that have been on my list for a while. They're not festive, but they're ones that I really want to read. So I picked up The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. I'm super behind on this. I know I'm super behind on this. The movie has just come out, but I do want to read this. I do have the special edition collection of, let me just grab them. I have this special edition collection of the Hunger Games books, and I think I would like to do a reread in 2024. But this edition of Ballad and Songbirds and Snakes, I feel like I would get too worried about damaging it to actually read it. So when the paperback version is only £5, I was like, you know what, I'll get one of those. And the last book I picked up is the sequel to a book I read in November, and one that I only rated 3 stars, but I was intrigued enough to want to read the sequel, and that's Bloodmarked by Tracy Deonn, which is the sequel to Legendborn. It's the whole series is called the Legendborn Cycle, and again, this one was only £5. So I've also picked up the audiobook of this, and I'm intending to co-read it with my eyes and my ears at the same time. The font is so small. It's so small. To end the video, I've already been talking for far too long anyway. Let's count what I got. I've just made my TBR bigger by 30 books. Okay. Should I have spent that money? Do I need these books? No. But I've done it now, and it brought me joy, and it got me out the house, so I think the positives outweigh the negatives. The regret is setting in. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow for another Vlogmas video. Bye!